Welcome to Relentless Mentality. I'm your host, Justin Bayless. On Relentless Mentality, we get the mindset of change agents, leaders, and icons. And today we have a sports icon that I've known for over 20 plus years. Jason Kidd, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This is an honor. I don't know if I'm an icon, but thank you for those nice words.
Relentless, commonly defined as oppressively constant, determined, showing no abatement of severity, intensity, strength, or pace. I believe relentless is an ethos. You're not stopping until you get what you want. You're not taking no for an answer. No obstacle will deter you from your goals. Relentless mentality is where we get to tap into the mindset of change agents, leaders, and icons. My hope is that their stories will inspire and motivate others to transform their mentality in their profession, their personal life, and ultimately their communities. So remember, when it's tough, will you give up or will you be relentless? Well, we have a running joke here at Relentless Mentality with our producer that it is one of the hardest things of this show is to introduce people. So with your introduction, your bio, I think we can go on and on, but played in the NBA 19 years?
Yes.
Co-rookie of the year?
Got lucky.
Okay. Won a championship in Dallas.
Got really lucky.
2 Olympic gold medals.
Yes.
And recently got an errant phone call to be on the Hall of Fame as well, right? So
Yes. Wrong number.
Wrong number, yeah. So of all of those things, though, I think the thing that things that impress me the most about you, and I've never told you this, and I don't want our group to say anything either, but we play golf together quite a bit. Every team you've played for or coached has gotten better, and I think you only missed like 50 games of your entire career because you didn't start or something. It's some crazy statistic. It's like out of like almost 1,400 games, you only missed like 40
Injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries.
And that's
Got
it.
lucky.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not a relentless mentality to show up every day and what that does to your body over those years, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I got lucky. I think, when you talked about those highlights, I guess you can call, winning is something that I've always treasured. Mm-hmm. And growing up as a kid, I was taught what it meant to win and what it took to win, and that's what as a player or as a coach, I that's why I came to work.
Yeah. So you grew up in Oakland.
Yes.
Biracial family, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about growing up and your family, when you fell in love with basketball and so forth.
Yeah, I was born in San Francisco. I moved to my parents moved us to Oakland when I was 3, and so just growing up in the Bay Area, I look at it as being the opportunity of the melting pot. So not just being biracial, my mom being white, my dad being African American is. That just was the norm for me. Yeah. And going to school, sometimes you might have heard the jokes of the zebra or the Oreo, but I was very blessed to have great parents who worked extremely hard, that helped me with what I thought was what it took to work, and that's having a job. My dad worked for TWA for over 30 years. That was his first and only job, and then my mom worked for B of A for over 30 years. That was her first and only job. And so I had great role models early on and until today to understand what it means to be successful.
So your work ethic really stems from your parents. When with basketball did you say, you know what, really good at this, and I know I have to work really hard to be great and get to the next level?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-part. Growing up, I started playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first sport, and in the 3rd grade, they didn't have enough boys to participate for the 4th grade CYO team, so I raised my hand, and I participated. I thought it was just like soccer, try to score the goal. And as I started to play more, I started to enjoy it, and I had to make a decision in 7th grade. Was I going to play soccer or basketball? And most of my friends were playing basketball, so I chose basketball. And by the 8th grade is when I was recognized as having a talent. And the one thing I was a little confused was I thought I was just doing the right thing. I didn't look at it as, oh, you're going to be successful or you're going to be this star. I just thought I was doing the right thing and listening to my coaches and my parents.
Yeah. So you coach my younger brother, I actually was introduced to you through my dad when I was 12 years old.
Right.
So I've known you for a long time, and one of the things when I run into people who don't really understand professional athletes and what it takes is that regimen and routine.
Yes.
And I know my brother's routine, and I've heard the stories from you and from him about how tirelessly you work. And can you tell a little bit about your routine and how you really prepared in high school for Cal, because you attended Cal, and then after you got drafted second in the NBA, how did you continue that routine and so forth?
Yeah, I think routine, is a big part of having success. And sometimes the routine is going to be broken, but how do you, bounce back from that? And so I learned routine very early. You brought up coaching your brother. That's why I don't have any hair. But I think routine, it just helps you become consistent. And in sport or in life, we're all fighting to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can have a routine and you can work extremely hard at that routine, because there's going to be so many people pulling at you
Mm-hmm.
to try to do something different or get you out of your routine so you're not successful. So I was very blessed to have a great high school coach in Frank Laporte help me understand what it means to have a routine and work at that routine on a daily basis, no matter how many people are pulling at you.
So give an example, because I think sometimes people just think, professional athletes just have the talent and they're just better than everybody else. How many hours a day would you put into your craft at, at the different levels? Just
That's a great question. It's not how many hours.
Yeah.
I think it's the love of you can wake up during the summer and you can go work out in the morning and play. Go, have lunch, go play somewhere else, and then go home, go to sleep, and wake up, 10, 11 o'clock and want to go do it again,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that just shows you how committed you are to push your talents and find out if you can get better. And it's just about not the hours or trying to count how many shots, but how much time does it where you are exhausted, but you will get up and go do it again
Mm-hmm.
and grind. And for me, that as a kid growing up, I loved playing basketball. So on the playground, at Cal or at the high school or at any other high school or wherever there was a game, I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah. So I know you're big on nutrition. I know your family. I know your wife, and I'm very familiar with that. How did you balance, and when did that really become important to you? I know stretching and other things. When did you make that transition to be able to play, 19 years at the highest level?
I wish I would have done it earlier.
Yeah.
Just understanding how important it is to eat right, how important it is to stretch. As a young individual, you think you can just lace up the shoes and go,
Mm-hmm.
and I did do that. I didn't eat well. I had McDonald's and all that good stuff, But understanding what you put in your body is going to come out, and so having the energy, getting the proper sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to stretch. I was not a big fan of stretching. I thought it was a waste of time,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding it helped me play 19 years.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the obstacles you've had. So growing up in Oakland and in your family, I'm sure there were some obstacles. Would you point out your childhood having more obstacles, or making the change to the NBA was the biggest? Where did you have the or even becoming a coach? What has been the biggest obstacle you've had in your professional
Yeah,
career?
that's a great question. I think obstacles come in all shapes and forms in the sense of growing up, being able to, in Oakland, understanding that you had to work and that you had to prove yourself
Mm-hmm.
or you weren't going to be able to play. And I was up for that challenge. In high school, uh, everybody coming to watch me play, was I able to, fulfill everybody who came,
Yeah.
and that's at a young age
Mm-hmm.
where people would come to the games. And then I think uh, as time, trying to win a championship, it's the hardest thing in sports is to win a championship, and to be able to finally get there in 2011 with Dallas was, a dream come true and a heck of a ride. But when you're in it, you think you're going to win multiple championships, and sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And then I think, the last, but two more challenges I would say is coaching
Yeah.
is extremely hard.
Yeah.
But I think being a parent and being a father is the hardest.
Yeah.
And, being involved in basketball in the NBA for 20-something years, now having the opportunity to be a father and to be home and help that's the great obstacle, but it's also fun to see the kids grow up.
Yeah, and I know how much you enjoy that. I've seen, even since you moved back to Arizona, how much time you dedicate to your family and kids, and I think that's amazing, and being able to balance kind of your celebrity with your kids as well. How have you been able to kind of get them to understand how they have to follow their career and their pursuits and their craft?
Yeah, I think it's great because Chance is a little bit older now. He's 8. He can digest and understands what's going on. He thinks he didn't get to see me play as much, but he got to see the championship, so he thinks that's what sport is.
Win a championship.
Win a championship. But it's good to see him in sport. Yeah. It's kind of cool to see his attitude and some of the things that I did, and I can see my parents saying it's not always about winning, but he has this work ethic that I see in myself, and hopefully it takes him where he wants to go.
And he's genetically gifted. For everyone that doesn't know, Chance is your 8-year-old.
8-year-old.
And he looks like he's maybe 13. He is a big kid.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
But he's a teddy bear. But he is gifted. He gets it from his mom.
Yeah. Well, so recently you attended the Masters. I know we missed each other.
Yes.
I was out with a group. What did you think of that experience and watching these, top 50 golfers, transcend the course? One of the things I thought was interesting is how much hill and the geography, how difficult it is. You don't see that on TV.
Yeah, TV doesn't do it, it's just in the sense of the hills.
Oh.
The greens are extremely hard. You have the best players in the world fighting to win the championship, to win the Masters green, jacket. The thing I thought, just the experience of how the Masters, Augusta, can move that many people around the golf course, and there was no one upset. You can leave your chair right there and walk away and come back, and your chair is still right there waiting for you. And so, the prices are extremely affordable.
I think the most expensive thing is like $3.50 for a beer. I think nothing's more than that.
Yeah, I think the concessions, they move you through. It's an incredible experience, and I'm glad that unfortunately I'm not working, so I got the opportunity to go and experience it. And
because for 19 years you could never go because you were either going on a playoff run or playing. Yeah.
So if I'm not working, that would be another thing that I want to do again, the experience.
Yeah. So. It's funny. One of the things I really appreciated about it, which I was lost when I walked in, was they take your phone and lock it up.
Oh, yeah.
And,
there's no phone.
In 2018, you quickly realize, and I walked in, I'm like, I want to take a picture. Wait, on my phone. And so it's the etiquette and the interaction with people as guests there, I thought was phenomenal because, as you said, you move through these lines, but everybody's friendly, everybody's saying hello and engaging, where in our society now, everybody's head down, whereas you're engaging at all times and in nature, which I thought was just amazing. There's no stands, there's nowhere to sit really, except for an amen corner. There's a few stands, but you're really walking in and interacting with people. It's a lot different than our Phoenix Open here in town.
I think it's one of the best things that most people should experience is being able to go and not have your phone for 5 or 6 hours. Yeah. Because sometimes your body parts are vibrating and you think that someone's texting you, and you find out that you don't have a phone.
Yeah.
But I think again, like you said, it's a great experience with no phone, but you wish you could take a picture because it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot from, I'm in a service business, and watching 50,000 people move through a gift shop and concession stands, and the etiquette to put your chair down, and how well run their supply chain is, right? And their processes, and just the engagement by the staff. Augusta National does it very well. I know a Hall of Famer that would be looking for a membership very soon. So if somebody who is a member at Augusta National may happen to stumble upon this podcast, there's a Hall of Fame basketball player recently inducted that has a golf group that some guy might be on that plays with them that, hey, a membership would be warranted. So, okay, so you talked a little bit about the championship. You got, gold medals, championship, Hall of Fame. What moment to you really was like kind of the aha moment in your career? Like, you know what, this is really what it's meant to be, or this is what I've strived for, or where I've really made it. Is there anything outside of those?
I think winning a championship is you climb the mountain and you get to the highest peak, and there's no one left, and that was a great feeling. Representing the United States and winning 2 gold medals is an amazing feeling too. But I think getting that phone call, the wrong number, when you see it from Springfield,
Yeah.
and the phone calls, on the other line is telling you are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame is surreal. It's just something that your whole career kind of is played in a movie, and there is no more levels. This is it. The train has stopped, and so that's probably the greatest accomplishment that I've done in sports, and so it's just surreal.
Okay, so based on that Hall of Fame, I mean, if you had there's another young basketball player somewhere that happens to watch this podcast, and you were to give them the one secret to your success of how they can one day make it to the Hall of Fame, what would that be?
That's a great question. I think you talk about work. You have to work, and you have to accept being knocked down, and understanding how quick can you get back up, and show that fight. And if you can do that, good things will happen, because it's not an easy road where it's just all yes, and it's not all smooth and the ball's going to bounce your way. But how are you willing to sacrifice a body limb? Are you ankle, a knee, a hip? Are you willing to have are you willing to sacrifice something to be a champion, to be the best in the world? And so if you are, then good things will happen.
Yeah, so with that, I mean, you're one of the greatest basketball players in NBA history. You now are moving to coaching. How do you, right? You're a Generation Xer. These are Generation Z and Millennial guys. And with all the success you have, how do you translate that to the next generation of these individuals that are coming to the next level, and how do you get them on board with understanding that?
Well, I think first you got to talk about history. Understanding the game, who came before me, and Gary Payton, John Stockton, guys who worked, Magic Johnson, and then understanding my job is to pass it on to the next person, to help them understand that it's about work. You can work 45 minutes, you can work an hour, but are you willing to work? And coaching, it's hard because everybody has their own idea of how they want to get somewhere. But as a coach, I'm learning to ask one question, and is that, what do you want?
Yeah.
So if you give me the answer of what you want, my job is to help you get there. And I've done that in a couple cases, and hopefully I'll get another chance at coaching and do it again.
Okay. So at the end of the show, we usually ask a few quick lightning questions, right?
How fast is lightning?
Well, about as fast as you used to be able to dribble up the court. So who inspires you?
My mom and dad.
Okay. What motivates you now?
My kids.
Okay. If you could have any job in the United States, what would it be?
Oh, being a father.
Okay.
That's a job in itself, and that gives me the greatest joy is being able to be home, being able to be Uber, where you drop off the kids at school, pick up the kids, go get the groceries. I think it's a lot of fun.
Who's the best in our golf group?
Oh, that's easy, me.
Oh, see, now you know he's lying. So, well, man, I appreciate our relationship. I think that whoever decides to pick up the phone and give you the next opportunity and gives you the chance to make their team better, I think is going to make a really great decision. Being a Phoenician, I hope somebody locally does that, because I think going back in history, one of the worst moves our franchise has ever done was sending you away. But I just really respect and value our relationship, and thank you for spending the time today. And hopefully everybody else out there got a little bit of insight into Jason and his mentality. And Appreciate it again, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
having me on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please subscribe in the links below. And remember, never to quit, always be relentless.